All right, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Thursday, February 29th, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. And let's get into it today. So markets here today are green, but lots of whipsaw. And you're going to see, obviously, we had the PCE number this morning, and it came in right in line. So there is clearly hedges in place for that number to come in hot. And it was not the case. It came in right in line. But, you know, core did uptick, I think, 2.8% month over month. So definitely, you know, just confirming what we've been seeing. It's just inflation is stickier than normal. Don't need to go into that whole deal right now. But bottom line is markets here got a bid. Then we came back down in a pretty sharp decline, at least the most aggressive sell I've seen in a while during market hours. We've had a few declines recently, right? Let's look at an hourly here. A big gap down, right? This one wasn't really, I mean, we gapped down and then we sold for like 3 hours. But intraday, not really that violent selling, except for today. We had a little dip here. Volume picked up big time. Then we had this little bear flag and we dipped down pretty good. But one of the things I talked about in the trading room this morning, and we were long this whole time, we're still long right now, and we also had people buying right here at the lows. Look, what have I been saying here? SMCI, right? You know, I hate to like repeat it myself, but if this was a real sell, do you think SMCI would be green? And do you think it would have made a higher low intraday? Same can be said for ARM, right? These stocks are risk on. Like, there's a reason why I've had Tesla on this sell right here in my screen for the last 2 years. It's a really good gauge of risk on. It's not so much anymore. It's kind of lost that luster. Nvidia is though, and outside of this one little spike, outside of this fake spike in the SMH fake breakdown, we didn't really sell off. In fact, while the spiders were selling, semis were, you know, making new highs, and then they finally came back in on that spike down. So again, didn't really ever get a sign that this market was going risk off here, and we've back tested. I said in the short video this morning, 50.65. Watch that. If we hold that level, you know, everything's fine. That's the level we would need to go to, and we spiked it by a few points and low of the day right in there. I think a lot of what happened today, a lot of this is market maker stuff. The last several Thursdays, right, we've had these big pumps into Friday. That was last Thursday. I think this was a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, one of these days. But we've had those kind of Thursday, Friday pumps, and we had a big surge in the pre-market on PCE. And so a lot of people probably buying calls right on the open, and I think they just had to whip them out. But again, support held. We went right to where we should have. Again, look at the ES right there in that breakout area, and now we're floating higher. We should get up to 5,100. I don't know if that's going to be today. We certainly could close there. There's 30 minutes left. It's possible. I think we'll get there tomorrow, though, one way or the other. But right now, markets are they're acting well. And we've worked off that overbought condition from last week now, right? We had a little pullback into this trend line. We've pulled back. If we get rid of this line, you're going to see here, it's just a bullish inside bar, right? Above the moving averages, there's no problems here. So we're setting up for a trend leg here, and path of least resistance is still higher. I know we've got this tightening trend line here, rising wedge. Could it play out there? It certainly could. We're looking at momentum. We've talked about momentum declining, but you can fix that by just bidding up. This RSI can this divergence can get negated if we bid hard enough. Have we set up enough of a leg to do that? It's certainly possible. And again, like I've been saying, you got to get below this green bar on a close before you even consider anything bear happening. And then we need to make a daily lower low. So that's all the way down here at 49.46. So we've got about 150 points of wiggle room here before we have to do anything. And right now this is setting up like it wants to coil higher. So that's kind of really the gist of it right now. 51.25 would be the next level after that. On the downside, again, nothing is really broken until, you got to break, well, I would just say 50.65, 50.60. At least in the, on the short term kind of intraday basis. 50.80 is also going to be a point of control. I mentioned that as soon as we get above 50.80 on the upside here today, that the market would be back to normal and safe, and that pivot would be in place. So in any case, market's hanging in there. We do have some data tomorrow. I think construction spending, ISM, stuff like that. Nothing too market moving, but could cause a little bit of volatility. We do have Fed speakers tomorrow, so they may push the market around. But again, until either of those levels break, bulls are still in control. Here's the triple Qs. Again, still kind of a sideways inside pattern, so no real problems there with the Qs. Again, 442 area is going to be kind of the next level. Maybe 444, we'll kind of upgrade it to that on the triple Qs. IWM, so I had a little bit of an interesting session. So we gapped up, we sold off. We haven't recovered as much as the rest of the market, but we did make, new 52-week highs. We'll see where this closes tomorrow. I'm very interested to see where this closes tomorrow, because if we do rip back up and we close at above 205.49, essentially that would be a weekly close above this pivot. Also, if we were to close right here, that'd be a weekly 52-week closing high, and it would be the highest 52-week closing high since 328.22. So important number here for the Russell as we come into tomorrow. Also, monthly close on the Russell is the highest since March 2022. So interesting little, and remember, it is leap day, so today's last day of February. But interesting levels to come in here into play on the IWM. Diamond can still go to 395. Nothing's changed on that front. SMH here still holding up. I don't know if I love this pattern anymore. We've kind of violated it a lot of times. Semis can still go higher, though. That's the bottom line right now. The only thing I don't like, and there's the socks, is you kind of have a decent kind of rising wedge here on the socks. And the SMH, you do have a little bit of an island. But again, you need to see it break in order to entertain that. It's still holding up. IGV trying to claw back. So we had this down move, and now we're just kind of up, and now just upright. So if you look at an hourly, you can kind of see it sideways there. It's trying to work through that supply. It might take a little bit longer. Snowflake did have earnings. I was disappointed. I was hoping this would get to 175. I thought this was an intriguing level. Didn't quite get to the 618. It did after hours, but I don't like those after hours levels. I don't really trust them. I like to see it happen during market hours, but nonetheless, that did get a bounce there. CRM was down after hours yesterday on earnings, but it did recover here, and now it is into double top. So that did offset the Snowflake move there. Snowflake, a much smaller company anyway, but nice move for CRM and IGV holding up. Transports here holding up as well. Up move, little pullback pattern, and a little pop. This can still go higher, and again, I do like the weekly chart on the transports very much. So if there's a laggard sector that's going to catch up, I think DJT certainly could be one of those, as the pattern is still set up pretty nicely. So interest rates today, 2-year flat, as were the 5s. So no real problems here overall. If I can get my charts to update here. That's fine. We'll just use Think or Swim. So the 2-year here, again, here's your M23. We're just going to look at the notes then. Or we're not going to. We're just going to look at ZT. It doesn't matter. So they're flat. You guys know the pattern. Nothing's changed there. I will say the one thing that is noteworthy about yields today or bonds is if you take a look at the ZB here, we had a big bid off PCE. That makes sense, right? And now we're just kind of pulling back a little bit. But if you look at the dollar, right, which should be inverse, we had a big sell, but the dollar recovered. And the dollar is at the highs of the day. So inverse correlation there, kind of breaking down a little bit, at least for today. Is that a one-day wonder? I'm not sure. But right now, you still have kind of a bearish inside bar here on the ZB. And the 2-year, despite this stupid contract cap that they won't let me fix right now, is still holding up. So yields are still holding up. There's no real problems with them. But I thought it was interesting that the dollar pumped and ZB did not really come back in that much. So XHB, new all-time high, new all-time closing high. VNQ, we talked about this yesterday, up move, little inside pattern, gap down, green close yesterday, and then a little up move today. And this didn't really participate in the sell-off either. I mean, you had a little spike of the opening range low, but good recovery. And VNQ looks a lot better. On the weekly, it looks better too. So nice test candle, closing back inside, and that looks all right for now. XLF, down a penny, won't make too much out of that. That can still consolidate sideways and go higher. KRE was also green. And again, another thing too, like if the market's really going to go risk off this morning, this should be, I mean, we did sell, but never really got close to the flat line. And it's holding up right now. Again, I'm not in love with it. I wouldn't own it right here. If you have to own banks, I'd rather you do KBE. The pattern on the weekly is just a lot better. Let me get rid of this. We don't need that anymore. But as long as that green bar low is holding, it's safe for now. And then broker dealers here holding up as well. New all-time closing high, not a new all-time high though. Oil continuing to hammer on this level. And the shorts are trying. I'll give them credit. They're trying really hard to keep it off of here. I think it's a losing effort. Maybe we have to go down and test this level again. It's possible, but this looks good. Up move, and you've just been tight for 2 weeks now. You know, looking at the weekly, we had the reversal bar, and we just kind of gotten up here, and we're just hammering on that. So I do think oil path of least resistance is up. Again, 81.50, and then mid-80s is the target there. If it does retrace, you know, look for 75, look for this lower trend line here. XLE was green today, but it was all over the map. Again, this pattern is still very good too. Up move inside bar. Resistance is at 87. So right in that area. Actually, I'll just make it the red bar high, so we'll do it exact. So 87.11. And yeah, it's basing beneath that. That's a good sign. XOP also basing on the daily. OIH did have a little outside move today, so a little bit of a weaker move, but again, pattern-wise, still no problems with it. And I still like this here. CCJ, again, basically testing 42 again, backing off. So that's still vulnerable down here. If it does pop back up, it's going to 45. URNM, trying for a higher low here. So a little bit better shape. We'll watch tomorrow. Again, if we close below the green bar, it's in backing and filling mode. Nat gas not doing a ton. It did gap up yesterday. Had a little rally yesterday. Pulled back a little bit today, but the pattern is all right. And I think, you know, looking at a 4-hour, that's getting ready here. 20 MA is catching up. So I think it's going to make a run at 2 to 210 here in the not too distant future. Dollar index we talked about, this was really strong, really good recovery for the dollar on bad news. So it's holding up well. If we look at a weekly, you know, it's not terrible. It's basing, and you know, if it does a little bit more, I think it can attack 106. But right now, decent recovery, and it's hanging in there. Gold holding up as well. Again, so that got a bid off of bonds, PCE, etc. You know, gold, I think it's just biding its time here. You know, there's a lot of things that have run, Bitcoin, you know, tech, and I think gold is setting up here. I don't think it's quite ready to break out yet. I don't think bonds are breaking out, so that's kind of why. At some point, I do think yields will go higher with gold, but again, I don't think we're quite there yet. But this is, you know, bigger picture. It's still holding up. 2075, 21 are still resistance. 2 and then 1975 are support here in the short run. We've been in a really tight range though. Silver got a little bit of a bid here today. I like this pattern less so than gold right now, at least in the short run. Again, support's down here. 2065 short-term resistance, 24, and then 2450. These have not changed in a while. Platinum a little bit on the weaker side here. And palladium, a little bit of a bid. And I still like both of them down in this level. Copper trying for a higher low here. But again, nothing to really do with this pattern. It's too kind of immature at this point, but you do have those lower highs there. Bitcoin here. So it's good to look at this now that we've had kind of a day in between time, right? So yesterday you had kind of an immediate reaction. Now that markets had time to digest this little pivot here, you know, we still have higher lows, believe it or not, on Bitcoin right now. Could this be a local top? I think it's very possible. But right now you have bullish action, right? Inside hammer. So there's nothing to say that it can't just do what it did here and just work off the overbought condition. But I do think it may be a local pivot. You had volume come in, lots of it. So again, I still think we're going to all-time highs. Do we go lower first? Do we go sideways first? That's really the question, but not really seeing any problems. ETH actually made a new high today, and it basically kissed that 36 level, got pretty close, I think. And this is a good sign too, because Doge was up 30% at one point yesterday. Hey, look, there's Doge. And right now, it pierced through this big level here, or excuse me, got close to this big level here, so that threw me off. But my point is the alts were acting well. Here's Polkadot, higher high from yesterday. Litecoin, higher high, nice pop there for Litecoin. The ones that I'm in here, Solana, breakout. Cardano, breakout. Matic not breaking out yet, but it was back up. Even, you know, XRP was up nicely today. So you saw rotation in the sector while Bitcoin just kind of backed off. So again, I don't really see any issues here with Bitcoin or crypto right now. And if that changes, I'll let you know. But, you know, again, like I said, it might be a local top, but you're seeing the sector get money flow while the leaders are taking a breather. There's never anything wrong when you see something like that. So anyway, spiders here holding up. Let's take a look. Yeah, so we're floating higher into a little double top right now. Let's take a look. 5093. So your cap for the day is 5100. We're not going to go above that. We'll see about tomorrow. I haven't really looked at the gamma or anything, but I'll just say I know 5125 would be a level if we get through 5100. But market's holding up right here. Good rally after selling off earlier. A little bit of a bear raid. Again, like I've been saying, I think a lot of people are buying puts into the lows. A lot of people are looking for a correction, and that's kind of why we keep going higher. So until that changes, or we get a you know, some type of a macro move that really actually the market's not prepared for, I think this market is going to continue to hold up until proven otherwise. You got to take out this green bar. You got to take out 49.46 and 49.20 before we even have a case to be made on that. So anyways, guys, going to wrap up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow.